My name is Kyle Weickhardt. I'm fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm here at Glory 48 in New York City fighting the newly signed UFC middleweight Chris Camozzi. I know quite a bit about him. As I said before, I think he's a jack of all trades and a master of none. He's an MMA fighter coming into a discipline where we train strictly striking.
I'm Chris Camozzi from Denver, Colorado. I'm excited. It's not every day you get to beat up a guy that talks shit on the internet.
When I talked to one of the matchmakers, he offered me the fight. He said, I'm trying to get you this fight with Chris Camozzi, that newly signed UFC vet. So I looked him up and I didn't really know much about him. And then I saw some of his, technique and stuff. And then he wrote something on Instagram, I think, signed with Glory Fight in New York, December 1st. Who do you want to see me fight? And a couple fans wrote like, oh, it's so-and-so, so-and-so. And I wrote, why don't you fight me? Let's face it, your striking is pretty mediocre. So let's see what you got.
It's funny, it was a while back. I had a message. This was after I signed with Glory, but I didn't have an opponent. And it was a guy saying that, what did he say? I have mediocre striking, and he's a real kickboxer, and he'd make me look stupid. And I clicked on his profile, like, who's this guy? And it was a Vegas door guy, so I just kind of blew it off. And come to find out, that's my opponent. Maybe he knew before I did, but it's not every day. Like I said, you get to get in the ring with a guy that is an internet quarterback.
He talks. He's a part-time fighter. He trains. He works in a suit at night and trains during the day. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only guy here that has another job. And even in the UFC as well. There's guys that worked as doormen, and Frank Mir, who worked at one of the top clubs in Vegas. I work at a club in Vegas as well. Work as a host. Phil Barone's worked as a host in some of these clubs. Even a lot of these guys, they train during the day and make some extra cash at night.
I never overlook opponents. This is Glory. There's no easy fights. Just like I came from the UFC, and there's no easy fights. But I think he's overlooking me and underestimating my striking. There's a big difference between MMA striking and kickboxing. I've always worried about the takedowns, which is my biggest problem. So I think that I'm definitely a different fighter when it comes to kickboxing and not having those takedowns in there. So I think his mistake would be overlooking me. Like I said, I've been fighting the best in the world for years while he's been sitting on the couch.
Glory's the #1 striking organization in the world, and they got this guy coming in thinking he's been fighting elite fighters, which he may have been fighting elite MMA fighters, but there's a difference between elite MMA fighters and elite strikers.
I think the pressure's on him. I never feel pressure. I enjoy doing this. I think a lot of guys don't necessarily love fighting, but they do it for the money. I'm different. I love fighting. If I was rich, I would still be fighting.
And I'm looking to go out there and showcase my top-level striking, my high-level kicking game against a guy who, in my opinion, has no business being in a top-level kickboxing organization.
Like I said, he's a kickboxer, but he should know firsthand talking shit on the internet isn't always the best way to go, especially when I haven't heard of you. He got him the fight, but now he's got to put it up and prove it.